Hey folks, how you doing? I'm Dave. That's Scott. We are here doing our show, and our show is Old Ass Movies Review. I
Yep.
was doing so
Old ass
well.
movie reviews.
Can
So-
you do that again?
no, that's perfectly fine. Welcome, folks. Hey, Dave came up with a great movie for us to take a little quick departure into old cinema, into 1941's King of the Zombies,
King of the Zombies.
starring, huh?
King of the Zombies.
King of the Zombies, yes, starring one of my new favorite actors of old, Manton Moreland.
Oh,
We've seen him before, and we talked about him when we did Charlie Chan and the Black Cat, and also with Spider Baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and now we finally get Manton in again.
I just want to point out real quick, this is 1941. This is when, as far as I can tell and as far as I know, black actors did not get, if there were a lot of white actors in a movie, if it wasn't a black movie with all black actors in it, they didn't get any kind of top billing. If you notice, when the credits are running, the main shot, you have Dick Purcell, Joan Woodbury, and then Manton Moreland is underneath the two of them. But his name is larger than both of their names. They got top billing. He's the third guy in the billing.
Right. I want to mention something about that because I did notice that. And
yeah,
this time sets a lot of the way this movie is portrayed or the way characters are in there. But Manton is the main character in this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
He is the lead all the way. And because of the way things were in the 40s in Hollywood, and in some ways still are.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Racism abounds, and we see Manton, even though his name was bigger, and I applaud them for that. It was like the studios, hey, here's a great movie, but you know what would make it better? Two white guys that aren't necessary for the story.
Right.
So,
well, here's something, and I texted you, folks. If you like Captain America, if you are a Captain America fan, if you've seen the new Captain America movies, if you saw the series from the 70s Captain America, if you saw the really bad movie in the early 90s, late 80s, Captain America with the plastic ears, you've got to watch Dick Purcell in Captain America, the serial. I think it's a 15-part serial, if I remember correctly. I own it. I have it. I love it. You can find it on YouTube. Dick Purcell is in this movie. He plays a character called James McCarthy. He's the tough guy. He's the tough, rugged pilot guy. But if you get a chance to watch that, watch it. The thing is, he doesn't have a Captain America shield. I don't know why they didn't give him a shield. Not my problem. But he carries a 45. He's got the star. He's Captain America. And this serial is, for me, when I discovered it by complete accident one day, 30 years ago, I bought it like that minute. It was on VHS. I bought it. I loved it. I still love it. I still watch it occasionally. It's worth a watch. He is the original Captain America. It is great. It is nothing like you've ever seen before. So with that, Joan Woodbury, big time actress at this point. She plays a good character. She's the daughter of the crazy Nicolas Fangre. Henry Victor played him. So Dick Purcell was James. Joan Woodbury was Barbara. Of course, Manton Moreland was just, he's so good. Jefferson Jackson.
Jefferson Jackson.
And John Archer was Bill Summers. And the character that Manton portrayed was John Archer's, the character Bill Summers, his manservant,
they called him a valet.
Valet, thank you. I could not think of the name. He was a valet. So Manton Moreland's character even was about 5 steps up above what most black character actors at the time would have portrayed in one of these movies.
And I like how they actually make a reference to something similar to that when he's chatting with the cook in the kitchen and she talks about her old boyfriend or whatever, how he
Yeah,
was a porter, and it's like, oh, he made it to a porter. So you hear
yeah,
them talking about the different class structure within
yeah.
the jobs that were available at the time.
Right,
And it's like, wow,
right.
that was really kind of neat. And I didn't expect to find that in this movie, you know.
But it was pretty funny. But it's also
Yeah.
very funny the way that it happened, the
Yes.
conversation happened, because this beautiful cook, this beautiful
Yeah.
maid servant is down
From
in the.
Alabama.
Yeah, she's from Alabama on this island. It's just so funny. Just all the coincidences in this movie.
Things don't make sense and they don't have to.
And Manton Moreland, and I know we're not really talking about the movies per se. Real quick, they're
We'll get to it.
flying, storm, get a radio signal. They're running out of gas. They crash land on an island.
And I want to say something about
Sure.
this, that they land on an island, and after hearing the radio signal, they don't understand the language they're hearing, and it's German.
Right.
And look at the time of this.
1941?
Yeah, he is an Austrian scientist who's hiding
Yeah.
in somewhere in some South America, or he said West Indies island.
Well, they passed over Cuba because they weren't sure where
Yeah.
they were at. So they were like Cuba, South
Yeah.
America, in that
So
area.
where we know all the Nazis went to, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh, this is interesting.
Isn't it interesting how all these movies that had Nazis down in South America back in the 30s and 40s turn out to all be true?
I know, right? It's where they
Just
went.
saying.
It's where they are.
So they get to the island. Everybody crashes. I'm sorry, I had to finish telling the quick story.
Sorry, man.
And there's something weird going on with the doctor, something weird going on with his wife, something weird going on with the niece. Nobody's really sure what's going on. You had Dick Purcell, who's the tough guy, who's going to go find out what's going on. I'm going to go beat some people up. He gets conked on the head again. He keeps getting his ass beat in this movie. It's funny.
It is funny.
Captain America, he's just not. But Manton Moreland the whole time is warning these guys, these white guys that he's with. There's a problem you need to pay attention to. His boss, Bill Summers, isn't going to. It's all in your head, Jackson. Relax. Don't worry.
I mean, what would you think?
And then Dick Purcell's character is the guy who starts thinking, well, maybe there's something to this. So he starts investigating a little bit. He's looking at Jackson going, yeah, he might be onto something. It is kind of weird here. So that's how those two start becoming friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was very fun.
Yeah, I want to clarify something that I said, sure, that those characters weren't necessary. The fact it felt tacked on doesn't diminish the fact that I thought they played the roles well, and it was good ensemble. Yeah. It just, just me looking at an old movie through 2023 eyes, and this is what happens when you watch this stuff. So it's like, yeah.
And I think they were necessary. If the entire cast was black, the entire cast was white, the entire cast was Asian, you need those two guys. You need those two archetypes that were the tough guy and the smart businessman who's trying to make a deal with the government. You need those archetypes.
You absolutely did. Yeah.
You needed Manton Moreland's archetype as the. This is the best way that I can describe him in everything I've ever watched him in. He is the everyman. He is the guy
right there.
I'm watching the show through his eyes. That how he's reacting is probably how I would react. We got to get off this island, and I'd be doing it with the wide eyes. We got to get off this island, man. Are you guys crazy?
He was a phenomenal actor. I always felt every time I see him that I am looking through his eyes, and he's me on screen. He's everybody watching this. He is the everyman. So for him to be, not many people do that. Not many actors are able to grab that and just have that. And you just, what it is with his energy or what have you, that just makes it where you can so connect to him. And I just adore him because he's so damn funny. Oh my God. I'm in tears watching this movie because
God.
You're just telling it like it is.
I'm a zombie. You're not a zombie. I'm a zombie woman. Give me something to eat. Sitting there eating whatever she gives him. What is this? That's what zombie food. That's what zombies eat. You got any salt? I got salt. She's putting a ton of salt on there. She starts eating it. Geez, that's a lot of salt. She's like, yeah, well, you ain't a zombie. She's like, how do you know? Because zombies can't eat salt. If you ate salt, you dry up and wither away. Oh, he's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. I'm not a zombie. That girl's not putting up with any shit from him.
That's what was so funny, you know. He's scared, he's so serious, then all of a sudden he's marching with the zombies. He's, you know, it's like I
And he's
I
having
love this movie.
conversations. He's talking to
Yeah,
her, and she's like, You're not a zombie. How do you know I'm not a zombie? Well, you're talking. Zombies don't talk. God.
it's
God, that was
funny,
funny.
man. It's a good movie. I'm glad you mentioned bringing these up. It's a short movie, folks. It's just a little over an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an hour well spent. It's well shot, well acted.
Oh
Manton
yeah.
Moreland is so funny. And if you don't like him, you have no sense of humor. I don't know what to
I
tell
don't
you.
know what's wrong with you if you don't like
Yeah.
Manson Moore. Here's the thing. I've said this before in one of our other interviews or reviews that we had, and he was in, that Mo Howard wanted him as the third stooge, but the studio wouldn't allow it because he was black. And Mo Howard said he would have been the best fucking third stooge had they been able to get him. And
I
I
agree
want to go,
100%.
if there are dimensional doors that I can go through and
I want to
parallel
go to that
universes that I
universe.
can go to, I want to go to the universe and watch the Three Stooges that Manton Moreland was the third stooge.
Oh my
That's
God.
my hope and dream. Everybody else wants to go science and do all this other stuff. I want to see Manton Moreland as the third stooge. If anybody has a dimensional door that I can go to, let me know because I want to go there.
It's at Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes, Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah. Woo! Yes. They all have Manson Moreland t-shirts on.
Yeah,
Um, I just it's a damn shame that this man is not more popular
I
and
know.
not better known than he is. When I discovered him by accident watching a Charlie Chan movie, which I love Charlie Chan flicks,
Hmm.
I
Absolutely.
unabashedly say so. I don't give a damn
Oh,
that
they're great, man.
it's
They're great.
2023. I love him. And when he shows up, there's something about him being the sidekick and then being with one of the sons hanging out and getting into trouble with one of the sons on those shows, and he's doing basically the same thing here. He's again the everyman. He's
Hmm.
you see what he's seeing, you know what he's thinking, you know why he wants to get everybody out of there because he knows there's trouble, and he's just so funny. His reactions are funny. His timing is impeccable. I don't know.
He was brilliant, man. It's comedic timing. It's everything.
I wish I would have discovered him sooner because I think I would have become a comedic actor because of him. I
I can
honest
see
to
that.
God, I think I would have discovered him and went, I'm going to steal that because that man's a genius,
Yeah,
and nobody does it anymore. Nobody is that funny with that pure of heart in being funny.
exactly. He has a physicality to him, which you'll see in Jerry Lewis and Jim Carrey are the
Right.
two very physical comedians
Uh,
that come to mind. And Manton is, I can see they must have looked at him because what he does with his face and
mhm.
what he does with his reactions remind me of both of those guys. And it's
His
just like,
shoulders, whenever something
oh
happens,
yeah.
he's like, don't. Everything scares you. Don't. He does the jump. He's like, whoa.
Oh, that was funny.
And
And
that's
he's just great.
I'm telling you, I think you mentioned those two, but there's a sincerity. Like when you
Hmm.
watch the Three Stooges, there's a sincerity in their actions. It's never, none of it ever seems forced.
Right.
Manton Moreland never seems forced. It
It's
seems like
so
it's
natural.
almost like they just put him in there and they didn't tell him what's going on, and it's like just react, just go, and he's like, oh shit, oh no, that's this up. It's a sincerity that he brings to the screen that when I watch, I'm like, I wish to God I would have discovered him sooner because I
Yeah.
honestly think I would have been an actor.
Yeah, he
you know?
his exactly. It was almost like he was just let loose
Yeah.
on there to do that. And one line just cracked me up as somebody who studied drumming percussion. I can play a little bit. When he's hearing the drums, and he's like, "Well, that ain't Gene Krupa, folks. If you
Yeah.
want to see a great, phenomenal drummer, look up Gene
Gene
Krupa." And
Krupa. Yeah.
I forget the other guy, Buddy Rich
Buddy
and
Rich. Oh,
Gene.
geez, yeah,
Buddy
Buddy
Rich
Rich.
and Gene Krupa. Take a look at
Monster.
those guys. Amazing, amazing drummers. So when he said that, it was relevant because those guys were at the top at that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, those are the big dogs.
yeah.
But yeah, man, this is a funny movie. It's of its time, but not so much of its time where I think anybody will be really offended. I mean,
No,
I'm not
it is what
it
it
takes a
is.
lot to offend
It's
me.
not offensive.
So it's not offensive at all. I mean, you have zombies, and it's the typical zombies where they're walking slow. It's great. I
Yeah.
just love it. And Manton Moreland and Dick Purcell.
It's
I
great,
watched
man.
this show 2 or 3 times before I realized Dick Purcell was Captain America.
Oh
Like I
shit.
saw the name and I'm like, I know that name. Where do I know this name from? And it's this time around watching it that I was like, oh my God, it's Captain America. That's why I know this guy. I've seen him in a ton of other stuff, small movies like this at the time. He's probably, I'm guessing, a B actor, they call him. Probably made a pretty
Yeah.
good career though, because he was in a lot of stuff at the time. Manton Moreland, I hope to God that man died rich and happy, because he, if anybody deserved a
Probably
good rich,
didn't die rich, but
well, I don't know. He might have known how to invest
he
his
might
money.
have.
That'd be
But
nice.
sad thing is, a lot of actors from that time, as we know from the Howard brothers and
Oh
everything,
yeah,
did not.
yeah. They did not have good contracts.
No.
Yeah, you got to watch it. Anytime you can find Manton Moreland, I just wish somebody would get all his movies together, do a high res, high
Well,
def
we are watching
stuff.
more, and that is for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely
Revenge of the
watching
Zombies
more.
is out there.
Yep. It must be a follow up.
Yeah, it's
So
gotta
we will
be.
definitely put that in sometime this year, folks. It'll be
Yeah.
in rotation and we'll return to Matt and Moreland. I highly recommend this movie. I love taking trips into old cinema and watching how things are done. And it reminds you or lets you know that we haven't had anything like that in a long time. Everything is just regurgitated crap. And that's why we tend to focus on occasionally we'll hit something new because it's different. And then we stick with the stuff when they made movies, not just to make a buck,
And this is funny. It's not hurtful to anybody. They're not insulting anybody. They're not calling anybody. Even the Nazi. They're not even calling. I mean, they're not even insulting him. They're just saying, "Oh, he's the bad guy." You just know he's the bad guy.
It's always the German accent.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. I recommend it. Anything with Manton Moreland.
Yeah, absolutely.
Manton Moreland. I would have loved to have met that guy. I wish I could go back in time and just meet him. Especially at this age that he is in this movie. I'd be like, dude, you are a god to me.
Well, when you look at him, and this isn't a fair comparison to either Manton or who I'm going to mention, but it's every now and then you hit an actor that is different.
Right.
And I think of Kevin Hart somewhat. And Kevin Hart's a little more amped up, but he has that physicality that you see in Manton. So that's another one that I didn't even think of.
See, and I think of the guy who played Smokey in Fridays. His name just flew out of my head. Smokey.
Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker, thank you.
Yes, Chris Tucker is another very physical actor.
But he also has a lot of the looks that Manton Moreland had.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I wonder if he's aware of them.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know who these guys study as comedic actors, if they study a comedic actor or not. Yeah. You know? So I'm curious. I'd like to.
That is curious.
If I ever meet Chris Tucker, I'll ask him that. I'll be like, Manton Moreland is. Not. I got some movies. You want to come over?
Well, exactly. And when it comes to making movies or acting or whatever, everybody has their own influences or music and stuff. So I would be curious to see how many people he influenced.
Exactly.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for listening, folks. If you like what you hear, hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe. Check us out on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook. That might be about it. And anywhere you listen to podcasts. So drop us a line. Tell us what you want to hear, what you'd like us to talk about, and we'll give it a shot. So thanks again, folks, and we'll catch you next week.